I got my
Nice.
water, just in case I need a drink. Got more bourbon, and I'll turn you off because I don't want you. Not my background. All right. Hello, Internet. This is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9004. You are currently found at episode 10, and I am your host, SneakyDevil.
Oh god, it is episode 10, isn't it?
It is episode 10.
Oh boy.
Time flies when you're screaming inside.
Always, in other words.
Exactly. So, anyway. Now that we've begun, I can turn off the timer here, and we can get right on into it. So I think, what's the first chapter of tonight? I think we're going to do this one. Yeah, I think we'll take a look at this one. If Stanish manages to show up, we can take a look at that Game of Thrones fic.
Do we ping him? Should we ping him? Or
You can go for it, yeah, sure.
yeah.
So, this here is another lovely fanfic recommended to us by Shiro's server.
Did you just get like a stockpile from them?
Oh, I had a massive fucking stockpile built up from them.
Excellent.
On the bright side,
dumpster
at least now you don't have to waste time vetting other stuff.
Oh no, I still do. A lot of Shiro's server is a big lover of the lewd, so I still do. I still did have to come through quite a bit of the shit that I was recommended in a giant lump sum. Was like gay ass shit, like literal gay ass shit. So I was like, oh well,
Gay
I don't feel
ass
like
shit, as some might say.
doing any of that. So yeah, I had to comb through quite a bit to even get down to the narrow list of shit that I'll actually look at. And I had to narrow that list further of shit that I'll even bother reading on stream, and shit that I'll even bother reading. So, with all that being set up and said, let us get right on into it. This is Dragonborn's Vampire Queen. This is another amazing story that does the fantastic, absolutely outstanding narrative design in where you start at the end of the story and proceed to tell the entire thing through flashbacks.
Excellent. Just what we wanted.
Exactly.
Ugh.
I always wanted to read another one of these stories because why wouldn't I want to read about some character who is now an immortal divine god king of the entire half the galaxy and then not have to worry about how he got there? I mean, like, that's just obvious. Who wouldn't want to read about that?
Yeah. It's like, wow, narrative tension? Nah.
Yeah, it's literally zero conflict, no narrative tension. Like, it's physically impossible to have conflict being shown. Like, besides people punching each other in a flashback, I suppose. It's impossible to have conflict being shown in a flashback. Because there is no conflict. If the person's telling you a flashback,
You already know the resolution.
you know the conclusion. So it's really just pointless, you know? But
the only time I've seen this sort of thing work well was the Dunkirk movie, and that was just because it focused on the characters rather than the actual event.
Right, but the important part of the Dunkirk movie was that we all know what happened at Dunkirk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
historical event.
It's a historical event documentary, effectively.
Yes, and that's what I was getting at. And because of the characters, you got invested in the story because you already knew the outcome of the story.
Right.
Unless
But the other important part of that is that not only was it historical, but also the fact that the characters themselves were just ordinary humans in an ordinary position doing, well, considered extraordinary things, but technically speaking is in terms of fiction, ordinary things. Oh, what's this guy doing? He's an old man driving a boat. Oh, what kind of boat? The kind that only fits like 3 people on it. Also, it's pretty old boat as well. It's like, okay, well, there's no guessing to see what happens at the end because again, historical. But also, there's no problems with not believing the scenario you're being presented because it's an old man driving an old boat. It's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, the old man is actually Adolf Hitler reborn, and actually, he's a Super Saiyan, and his boat is actually a spaceship. And it's like, what the fuck? Hold up. You can't start the story with all of that while still calling it Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the same goes for a lot of fiction. Is like you can't just be like, okay, so the premise is Skyrim, all right, and it's a crossover with Mass Effect. Well, not this one, but it's a crossover with Mass Effect. It's like, okay, but they're 5,000 years in the future, and the Dragonborn is already king of the galaxy. It's like, wait, whoa, hold up. You can't just skip that far ahead.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the Dragonborn's Vampire Queen. The twilight called to her very being, but then again, so did the sun. Okay. Raven. Raven. The hero of Skyrim and slayer of Alduin. Yet so much more than that. She was a child of the night. So, in case you weren't aware, Raven is not what the summary is talking about. So, the author here has a minor issue in their summary where they are alluding to Serana, the vampire companion you can get in the Skyrim DLC. The problem is that they never talk about Serana. The only name they ever mention in the summary is Raven. So, one would think...
I heard y'all motherfuckers was looking for me.
Yes. One would think by how English works, everything in the summary would be about Raven. Nope. Talking about the vampire the whole time. Raven was just a side mention, but only because fucking the author's retarded and doesn't know how English works. So instead, you get to confuse your way through this. So anyway, yeah, blah 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 blah. 2 powerful vampires. Blah 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 blah. Abandoned Dovahkiin times Serana. So abandoned is always a good sign to see on stories like these because it means the author has realized that they are. Author has realized they are garbage.
I get the impression this is just going to be a boring fic.
Oh, it's boring as all fucking hell. The narrative is extremely cringe, young adult style writing. With lots of purple prose in it, with lots of just really boring shit, and the author messes up at some points in times where he's not really quite able to figure out what he's referring to in a sentence, and you have to reread it a couple times to be like, okay, he's actually referring to this instead of that. Hello, Jop. Thanks for the raid, mate.
Damn.
So generally this is just really boring shit that I was just vamping about until Stannis showed up.
Excellent.
So now that he's here,
Stannis.
yeah, we can go torture Stannis. So we got challenged by this guy.
Oh no. Okay.
Challenge.
So,
Wait,
yes.
Is this a guy from like what's his name? Shiro's server or something?
No. Where did this one come from? Dragon's Roar. someone was just shitting on us for something or something. They were like, "Oh, well, I've written this story and it's great. Fuck you guys, you're trash," basically. If anyone can remember where we got this one from, it's probably in the chat history.
I don't know. Try searching for it.
Yeah,
I
but
don't-
I'm always bad at that.
That's a lot of work for Sneaky.
Literally Control F.
Yeah, it's gonna return 0 results. I almost guarantee you.
Well, post the link so I can fucking search right then.
Yeah, like give us
You're
something
gonna-
to actually
yeah.
use.
Come on, you fucking moron.
Damn.
It might have been on your server, Arn, so you might want to check there
I
too.
think it was on his server,
It
from what
would
I
have
remember.
to
'cause
be.
Yeah,
It was-
hang on.
I'm pretty sure it was in the fanfiction section of his server. Of
It's posted by Barracks. All right, yeah, someone on Reddit.
someone on
discussion.
Reddit.
Few
Oh,
days
no.
ago, on that thread where someone was complaining about being able, well, no longer being able to delete reviews.
Yeah. So this guy was complaining that you can't delete reviews anymore or something because that was a glitch in the fanfiction system they finally fixed.
Wait, we can delete reviews?
I think I remember that.
Not anymore.
Yeah, there was a glitch. where
Why
could
would you do
delete-
that?
Yeah,
Because people are thin-skinned dipshits who think any sort of negative opinion of their story is flames and hostile criticism. And
The
I'm not
only
even
time
kidding on
I
this.
would consider deleting a review is when it's one of those spammers private
Right.
messaging me on fanfiction to sell their porn to me.
Right.
But that's never been in a review.
Yeah.
I've never had
Yeah.
that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so effectively there was a glitch that allowed you to use the ID you received from attempting to reply to a review
There's the
to delete the review, and people abused this to remove any sort of criticism of their story, leaving only the reviews that said good things about their story.
Yeah, like,
And-
I understand to a degree, like guest reviews that are spamming.
Oh, but that's
That's
easy. You just
okay.
turn guest reviews off.
Yeah, that's true. But also, it's a way of limiting your reviews. So I understand, like, guest reviews being allowed to be deleted. An actual review from someone on their profile, like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, no.
that's the big gay.
No, yeah, that was the big problem. Is you could always delete guest reviews. If the problem is that you could delete other people's signed-in reviews with this exploit.
So you can still delete guest reviews if they're spam and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That's
Yeah,
the only way I expect to get
I just posted an example of the sort of signed review I would delete.
Yeah.
In the...
I mean, yeah, that's fair. But the problem is the people abuse the system.
Yeah, no.
So,
And this
yeah.
is a both ways thing. Where, like, yeah, there's assholes who will just, like, spam a pretty good fic.
What
shit.
the? It's just a / and a dash. What?
What? Is
yeah,
that, like,
so,
someone
I
trying to
get that
find-
guy regularly.
Yeah.
Orpheus got that guy as well.
Just
Deserved.
It's entirely possible that he tracks the stories he's reading by the reviews.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might be what it is. He goes by the
Yeah,
things he's
it's a very
reviewed,
fucking
which is
thick way of doing
weird.
it.
Like, you have to be
That's kind of a-
exceptionally dumb to do that.
Yeah.
Well, hang on a second. Hang on. Because no, I'm trying to come up with a defense for him. I have over 200 things in my favorites and follows,
Sure.
and it's hard to find one that was like. There's no 5-star rating system. That's what fanfiction.net is. A
Sure.
5-star rating system. So if I had a 5-star rating system, I'd say, okay, I can look up the stuff in my favorites based on how I reviewed them. So
Sure.
the 5-star ones, I'm like, okay, there it is. So
Sure, but
maybe
the
like if
issue
you wanted
is
to
here is
review,
that you can't search reviews. There is no search function on reviews. It's listed chronologically, and it
Yeah,
only
it
keeps
also-
your last 200.
yeah. Oh wait, they'd upped it to 200.
Yep.
Oh,
So
I remember-
it's
a
not
lot
very
more than I would
good.
expect.
Yeah, it's not very good to actually sort your reviews by that, your stories by that, because it's just it's not made to support that sort of function. I mean, there's
They should at least. They should allow you to search through the fics that you've.
Oh no,
commented on.
there's plenty of ways, dude. I could probably spend maybe 30-45 minutes, collecting some code off the internet. I could fucking hit up Zeeks for this. that allows you to scrape your favorites, displays on a basic web page, and adds a fucking star sorting system to it. Like that's simple as shit. Like you don't need to use some convoluted, like literally I took maybe 5 hours in total of HTML5 learning that to code that. So it's not complicated. It's gonna take you less time.
That's gonna take some PHP and SQL too.
Yeah, it's possible.
HTML, PHP,
Yeah.
and SQL. Oh,
Yeah, something like that.
doesn't
But,
even need to
you
be
know.
HTML5, just regular HTML.
But anyway, so point being is learn to code.
So what? So this guy called us out on Reddit.
Yeah, no, he didn't call us out specifically. What happened is in specifics is that he said, blah, 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 I delete negative reviews. I get them all the time. I've been writing for over 20 years now, and I keep getting negative reviews on my stories. And clearly, it's completely unobjective, flaming criticism that has no relevance to my story. And I responded with, have you ever considered maybe your story's bad?
Mm-hmm.
To which he said no, and then he posted his story and said, "Look at this! This story is amazing. You can't find any fault in it."
Shadow helpfully provided a
I
screenshot.
Yes.
In
I know
which he
just
tells,
about every good to decent A Song of Ice and Fire Game of Thrones fanfics writer.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry,
I
what?
talked to most of them.
Yeah.
I keep a collection of them in a Discord that I help run. They're
Yeah.
my little harem of sluts
Nice.
that write for me. Right?
I love it.
Listen, I'm not joking. I actually
No,
this
I
is
believe
real.
you. Zeke's collected fanfic authors the same way by finding ones that coded. So then he collected a bunch of fanfic authors that coded and put them into a tiny little server that he can talk to them in.
Yep, I have like the guy right now that's running like one of the best, actually might be the best to this day, A Song of Ice and Fire fanfics. I've got him, and I'm in his
Song
server,
of Ice and
which has a
Fire
bunch of
is
other-
okay,
Game
so
of Thrones. Yeah.
do
That's
you
what I thought
have-
it was. I like the old, what used to be called A Song of Ice and Fire, that animated
Yeah,
movie that was really
so-
good
so
for
do
Dragon.
you have this dude here then, or
What's his name?
yeah?
I don't. Where have we shared? this?
Priestess of the Grove.
No,
That
Priestess
does
of
not sound like.
Peru.
Nope,
No.
that doesn't sound like anybody I fucking know. He's probably on
Okay.
AO3 and thus
So-
garbage.
No,
The
fanfiction.
Reddit name,
yeah,
the Reddit
well,
name is Starkrin.
I found one fanfic on AO3 that was ever any good.
I've got a couple of my guys cross posts there, but otherwise they're garbage. It's a garbage place to look for stuff.
I
Hey,
have a
what's this
couple of
massive,
meme ones. I have a couple of meme fics on AO3 favorited. I think maybe about two. Of all of the fics that I've gone through on AO3, I have two that aren't memes that are favorited.
Dragon's Roar.
Yeah.
I
Dragon's
just the
Roar.
one, and it's not on any other websites. I can't find what it's called again. It's
Hmm.
Hermione times Tom Riddle. It's a time travel fic. She
Yeah,
goes back
you
to
talked about
assassinate
that.
his mother.
What the fuck, dude?
Oh, okay.
She goes back in time to assassinate his mother while she's still pregnant, and like as she's doing, it's like, wait a minute, am I the bad guy?
No.
It's one of the
Wait,
funniest.
So
hold
it is
on.
on the
I'm
Citadel.
killing a
It is on the
pregnant mother.
Citadel.
I'm
Wait a
about to
second.
murder Voldemort's pregnant
Oof.
mother. Are we the baddies? Like, she and Draco came up with this plan. It's like, that might have been my mistake. And then what's her name? Merope beats the shit out of her
Hey,
and
Jork,
breaks her
fuck
time
you.
turner.
What a Jordan.
Like smashes the time turner against her neck, shattering, and she goes forward again into the future when Tom Riddle's at his height. Like, and now
Okay,
she's
wait,
like,
wait.
fuck.
I looked up on the Citadel. The Citadel is the place for A Song of Ice and Fire fanfiction on
Yeah.
Reddit. There is a review of it.
Okay.
Okay, but
They
is
say
it good or bad?
a solid 4.5. I like
Out
the
of-
pace characterization compared to
10.
some Fix-It fanfics. It's a Fix-It fit, to be clear.
4.5
Oh.
out of
5
10?
for
Oh.
a Fix-It fit. For a Fix-It fit. Let's be real here.
ooh.
Fix-It fits are not usually my thing
Yeah,
either.
they're not usually that good either. It's
Is it
super
a fic
easy
that
to
has
write.
spelling?
Hmm?
What's a fix-it fic? Is it just a fic that needs spelling corrections?
No, a
What?
fix-it
No,
fic
no, no.
is effectively a wish fantasy fan fiction in where all of the bad things that happen in a story don't happen.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with Game of Thrones, Rob doesn't die, Catelyn doesn't die, Ned doesn't die, all these people that we love don't die.
You will never
know.
get me to watch that show or read that book
Yeah,
series.
I know.
Fair enough,
It
whatever, I don't
gets
care.
worse because it's not just that they don't die. Usually, fix-it fics usually also involve surrogate OC for the author. One might possibly call a self-insert who goes running around with all this foreknowledge and preventing it from happening.
Yeah.
This isn't a fic, but there was one piece of gorgeous Naruto fan art I once saw that just read, "If things had been different," and it was some of the Akatsuki members just having dinner with other people and just living their lives, and it was beautiful.
Naruto's a
pretty
good
good.
example of one.
Yeah. Actually,
Naruto's-
there is a way to achieve that, which is remove Toby from the equation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Matter.
The thing is, like,
Not Toby.
Naruto can definitely have that happen. I've seen a couple of Naruto fix-it fic X S.
Well, it's
where, like,
not only that.
you know,
It's art is in drawings and whatnot by its own medium is a lot more flexible in what you can display because you don't need to tell a story. You don't even need to tell a short story.
Well, no, with art you have to tell a story because there was
Well-
Jiraiya with his old 3 apprentices. There was Itachi. there
Right,
was
right.
Sasuke,
Yes, the
there.
art itself
and they were
tells
all
the story.
enjoying dinner.
Right, the art itself tells the story, but the person looking at the art is the one generating the story to how that happens. You know,
Yeah.
it's not you, the writer, have to sit down and put out 45K, 100K, 300K words to fully encapsulate how you've managed to avoid all of the bad shit that happens in Naruto. You can just draw a picture, and the people looking at the picture will be like, "Oh yeah, if that X, Y, and Z happened, that could be different." Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'm not
happy ending.
disparaging art for
Rat
that.
brain ghost burr.
Yeah, I'm not disparaging
Now I'm
art
trying
for
to
that.
find this piece of.
I'm ju-
trying
I'm
to
ju-
find
just
this piece of
saying,
fan art, but
different
it's impossible to
qualifications.
find old fan art.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely
Don't even
impossible.
bother.
a good
Don't even
example of
try.
like fix-it fits would be like you said Naruto. So like someone from the Uchiha clan going back in time and stopping the massacre from happening the way it did.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I just found one piece of fan art. It's a young Naruto, and it's Jiraiya's apprentices. They're visiting Konoha, and they're like just family friends. Oh, that's nice.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's very wholesome.
See, that's what I'm saying though. Is like stuff like that. Like you don't need to explain to people. They'll just be like, "Oh, that's
You don't
cool.
need to
I like
explain
that."
how it happened. It's
Right.
that it's happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Then for some
Well,
reason,
yeah,
there's data
That's
dating.
the good
Okay.
part. That's the good part. Like, the thing is, when people like try to actually get into the weeds of how this shit works out, it almost certainly fails because they can't explain why characters have the motivations they do. A lot of people fail to understand that.
And that's why art is a lot easier to do. Just general, just like here's a picture. If I don't know, Guaragura was actually in Cyberpunk, and then it's like well, you don't really need to think why she would be there. You don't need to think how she would be there. You don't need to think any of that shit. You're just like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. If she was in Cyberpunk, she would look like that. Yeah.
I just posted the image. Go ahead and get some of that heartwarming.
Yeah, I see
Heartwarming
the
goodness.
image. All I can think is, Minato survived. I see.
Yeah.
And
I
Kushina's
feel like
cousin
it'd be
is there
back
too.
earlier. It'd be probably farther back. Maybe something
Russian. I
in
see.
rain.
Not even necessarily. Here's the thing. Minato surviving is a
Privet.
legit- surviving implies that he
Привет,
managed to
товарищ.
take care of his old apprentice.
This one,
there are
despair
multiple points
remains.
where you could fix it, but that's the one that jumps to mind immediately is Minato's around, which means he connects with his
Yeah,
fellow
fine.
disciples under Jiraiya. Which means
I'd
that's
say
really possible. Also, Kushina being around means that
Yeah,
hey
see,
cousin,
that's just a lot more thought that I feel like putting into a picture.
structure.
Oh, I got an
Personal-
easy one though. Like,
So
just
anyway.
have Hanzo die during the battle between the three Sanin and him.
Let's
Like-
start reading this fix-it fic.
I was actually going to suggest Madara dies at the valley at the end.
How about I suggest you shut the fuck up?
So this is The Dragon's Roar, a story that's been given a 4.5 out of 5 for a Fix-It fic, which I guess we'll see if that reviewer is just
Some other
really...
people were not
really-
as nice in the
Ah.
comments of that thread,
Oh,
but
I see.
Excellent.
Also, someone who linked it, Shadow linked us the thread
Mhm.
where he told you to go dunk yourself, which, by the way, meant you've been on FF.net since apparently its inception. It's okay to cuss. It really is. It's the
Yeah,
internet.
I know, right?
But I noticed that the thread starts with a writer doesn't have to grow if they don't want to from this person.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
oh,
This dude is like
that's a
straight
horrible.
shit. Yeah, a writer doesn't need to grow, and in the reasonable response he got was, well, yeah, sure, no, they don't, but if they want to post stuff publicly and they don't want people to tell them they're bad, they do.
yeah, like
Yeah, no, this is bad.
it's such a reasonable response to that horrible take. And it's like they don't have to publicly post either, though.
The best shit is the most downvoted comment from Darth Mars, which, you know, to be fair, caveat, I do shit all over Darth Mars constantly. He takes it like a champ. And, you know, I will give him credit where credit's due. Compared to his older fics, his newer fics are a marked improvement. With that said, they're still shit. So, I believe that Discord has once again decided to yeet.
Oh.
No.
Done football.
No?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah, I-
audio is back. Excellent.
Excellent.
I don't have to task kill Discord once more.
Good job.
I don't know why this is making me laugh. I'll share this.
I don't know.
Here we go.
Okay, good. It's not in there. Alright, so anyway.
Oh, never mind.
Humanity failed
I
to
can't.
stop the Night King and his legions of undead. This displeased the gods. Stanish, did we ever get any confirmation that any of the gods are real?
Yes. So we know the Lord of Light exists. We know the old gods exist. We know some of the other religions have backing for them. The problem is that all of them, it's ambiguous as whether they'd give a fuck. Is the thing.
Mhm.
Maybe the Lord of Light is the only one that we know might give a fuck. Otherwise, all of them don't seem to actually care all that much.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Well, from
They're
what
probably
I
dealing
got,
with more
the
important
drowned
shit.
god, it kind of really doesn't give a shit as long as people die in the ocean. The old gods generally pretty passive, just period, because they're like an amalgamation of everyone that believes in them that has died or something. I don't know about the seven at all. Anything. I know the Lord of Light did some shit with shadow aborted fetus assassins or something.
No, that's different. That's actually
that's
has nothing to do with him.
description.
She is.
Oh.
She's a shadow binder. She's like a magician outside of being a worshiper of him.
Ah,
So her the fire shit is all him.
right.
The shadow stuff is her working by herself.
I see.
She went to this magic city that's toxic wasteland, and that's where she learns that shit.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
But
so-
her bringing back people to life and shit, and
that's all Lord of Light.
Barrack and Thoros. Thoros keeps bringing back Barrack. That's Lord of Light stuff.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
the Men Without Borders or whatever.
Brotherhood Without Banners.
Yeah.
Men without borders.
Doctors
Man,
Without
okay.
Borders.
It's effectively
Mercenary
the same
Company
thing.
Without Mercenary Pillagers Without Borders, literally.
Pillagers
Oh.
Without Borders.
Wait,
Oh,
PMC without borders.
because mercenaries currently respect borders, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
mercenaries
definitely, yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
respect
Yeah.
borders. Yeah, 100%.
Outside of Africa, maybe.
So anyway, the gods hate this and decide that they should take a greater role in the fate of humanity. And to do this, they send the prince who was promised and a Lannister randomly back in time, equipped with their memories.
Interesting tactic.
Even with this advantage of hindsight, things don't go as planned. No shit, because they're two people without superpowers.
Wow.
Well, John does have superpowers.
Yeah, but John didn't go back in time, as far as I can see. Did
I
he?
thought it was John. It's John and Jamie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jamie meets Brienne, chapter 33.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh,
Is that misspelled? How is that spelled?
Brienne. Brienne.
Oh, fuck me. You're just saying
Brienne.
it horribly. Brienne.
Yeah. Sneaky pronunciation, you know.
Sneaky has trouble with pronunciations.
I'm also drinking.
He also doesn't care. To be honest.
It's just bad. It's just all bad.
Yeah, no problem. I'm here to
triple
serve.
threat.
So this is one of those authors that puts the latest chapter into their summary.
Oh, I hate that shit.
Wow,
hate
the
that
numbers,
shit
right? Fucking
so
there.
much.
They just never updated it, apparently. They just left
Wow.
that in the summary. Just Jamie meets Brienne, chapter 33. They're on chapter 89 now.
Fucking god. What a retard.
I can actually understand that.
Cool story. So this is a John times Daenerys. Wait, aren't they like siblings or something?
So,
Well, I mean, you know.
in the show's canon,
of
they
Thrones.
are cousins. Wait, no. They're aunt and nephew in the show canon.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah. In the book canon, it has not been revealed whether they are actually like nephew.
Well,
and
this
aunt.
is not Song of Ice and Fire. This is a Game of Thrones.
It's
fic.
Game of Thrones. I understand that. Yeah.
And then Jamie times Brienne.
It wouldn't be Game of Thrones without incest, let's be real here.
I suppose.
Shut up.
So they're at 89
You know it,
chapters
Travis.
with a
Win
respectable
fest.
nearly 400k words. So
Sure.
that's about what 400k times divided by 90 or something. Yeah, I think that's how you do that math
Yeah.
calculator.
Like 4.5k ish.
No.
Also
Oh my
good.
god, you fucking moron.
So yeah. So by the way, 4 is actually my mute key.
All right then.
I put a lot of 4s in. So anyway, Around 4K words per chapter. It's taken him about 2 years to write this. And if you listen to my fucking math here, so you take a month away from 2021, right? Take a month away from 2021. It's now December 30th, 2020. You add the month to November 30th of 2017, and becomes
what is this math?
And it becomes January 1st of 2018. Therefore, 2 fucking years have passed.
Sneaky.
No. Sneaky.
Yeah, January 2018. 2 years. That's 2020. You fucking retard.
Yes, December.
Oh my god! Oh, you're killing me, Sneaky. You're killing me. Any date in 2017 at this point have passed 3 years.
More than 3 years.
Any date.
Wait.
Okay?
Hold up.
Oh my fucking god. Come on. Come on.
Okay,
I'm not involved in this.
There is a reason that I passed the math class I was assigned in college, and that math class was statistics and not actual math.
Yeah, this is fucking like second grade shit. Come on, it's a fucking calendar.
Look, at least I know that 5 times 5 is 25 and not 35.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, you're completely shark-brained, but damn, you're fucking close.
I'm not. There is a level that I have not yet reached, and there is
goldfish brain, maybe.
Look, I was only off by 365. Okay.
What is that? What is that Pokemon? You're a Magikarp. You're like a Magikarp.
So you're saying I evolve into Gyarados? Thank you.
No, I'm saying you devolved.
Yeah.
I return. Oh, wait. If I devolved, wouldn't I have just returned to monkey?
Yeah, you have returned to fish.
Returned to fish.
You have gone beyond the monkey. You have returned to fish.
I went back too far.
Yeah.
Back into the ocean for me.
Better start swimming.
Fishmen.
Child school teacher fired for anti-Semitic social media post.
Of course. This fic is not done, but I do have a substantial amount of chapters. I will post a chapter now, and then I'll start posting more on a weekly basis. First warning. Characters die in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
No.
I want everyone to be aware that characters die in Game of Thrones, and if you don't like characters dying, you shouldn't read this story.
Wow, Rick.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah. Also, this is the gods sent people back in time with their memory story. I'm aware this is tropish as hell and has been done to death. And there's probably some of my favorite fanfics of this to read on this website. But I want to see other directions taken in this sort of story.
There's your problem right there.
There's one good version of this story. It's called Purple Days. There's no other good version of this story.
All right.
Purple Days is it. And even that gets bad later on.
Mm-hmm. That's fair enough.
Otherwise,
you have to get original.
There's Rob Returns. Rob Returns is ass. There is there's another one that's also about Rob. Yeah, that's also ass. Like there's a bunch of these like this where people go back in time and they wake up and they're like, "Oh, I've got all this shit I could do." But almost all of them are ass is the thing.
I think the main
almost
issue
like people
is
can't write.
Yeah, well, there's that, and the main issue is that a lot of these people, unfortunately for them, Martin actually sort of knows about feudal, settings, and somewhat wrote an accurate feudal setting. And so when they try to write their story that's a solution to the feudal setting, it encounters problems. Like they're trying to solve the existence of feudalism.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what the thing I hate the most in A Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones?
What?
Writers injecting modern verbiage. That shit is awful. If I hear
example,
dude, anything that anything that's like that, no. Now I can understand gotcha or I don't know, something that's a little bit more up to date for conversations that aren't something that's not cringy is the thing. Like
Well,
it can't
see,
You don't
be
want them
something.
sounding like Bill and
Well,
Ted.
you know,
Well,
there's your
interestingly
first problem.
enough, actually, a good preservation of how peasants spoke back in pre-industrial times is actually the southern United States, because they are the closest to accent and speaking patterns as it is for modern English. To the
Well, they are descended from Irish slaves and such. That's where they were put.
yeah, so they are the relic of time, I suppose you could say, the living relic of time.
Time capsule?
Time capsule. There we go. They're the time
Yeah.
capsule of how British people actually also sounded back in the day.
We're such good artists. We're such good authors. We know all the words.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, that's
Probably one of the most cringy things possible is when I see British writers or Australian writers write like stories like Worm and whatnot,
and then
have
use like mum.
Yeah, they have Taylor using like modern British English words like arse.
How are British so bad
and-
at speaking English?
Well, it's actually because they tried to emulate the French, because they viewed the French
Oh, yeah.
as very elitist and noble. So they're like, well, if we
I
act
was
like that.
joking, but you actually went with it. Holy shit, man.
Oh, this is true.
Yeah, it's
Word
true,
etymology
it's true.
is something I spend my time on.
No. I love the etymology of words too. Especially, what really got me into it was when feminists were trying to make bullshit about firemen.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah, yeah.
if you actually look up the origins of words, the evolution of the English language does not lend itself to an oppression narrative against women. Like, not at
Yeah.
all. Like,
As
not
far as
even a
I
little
believe, the reason why we use man in everything to refer to a position is because of the German adoption of the
Yeah.
definition.
Well, it's actually
yeah.
because man
Mom.
is the gender neutral term. There used to be a gendered term for a male adult
I know.
called
Wereman.
Whiffman.
It's
No,
Wereman.
wereman is women.
No,
Wereman
that's
is women.
Whiffman is woman, because Whiff became wife. And
Oh, okay. Meg, you're right.
Wereman is then became werewolf. You know, half man, half wolf.
Yes. hmm
That's how I remember, and I believe that was because the etymology is found in German derivative adoptions.
Yes, and back then, man was just an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Boys,
girl refers to child, boy refers to slave.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the etymology and that does not push a victim there. At
Yeah.
all.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Etymology is really cool and all, and I really cringe hard as hell when I see people just absolutely.
I feel the
not
same
pay
way
any
about Harry
attention.
Potter though too. Like if I see an American writer being like "Mom, Dad," you know, or using more like
honestly,
American slang.
I've
I just get
actually
wigged
very
out by that,
rarely
too.
seen American slang in Harry Potter stories. Like even the
Same.
shit tier ones we cover on here typically try to use the British version of words.
Yeah,
Maybe,
typically.
but it's just something that happens sometimes that is super annoying because it feels like the author doesn't pay attention to it. So when you see it, it's so glaring. It's
yeah,
like,
that's true. Yeah,
come on,
it
dude.
definitely points to the author being unaware that there is variation in language, which is not a good thing if you're an author, that you're unaware that language can vary.
Oh, they don't sound like that everywhere, do they?
Worcester.
Fuck me.
I gotta tell you though, I agree with Vamp here. Yeah, most fanfics I've read, like unless there's an overly American character, you're not hearing or reading American slang, or unless they're joking. Like
Meanwhile, fucking
literally
Shadow
making-
over here is just like dying inside.
No, Fergie's dying on the outside too.
That's true. He is British.
Part of being British.
I
Yeah,
also
that's what
laughed.
happens.
I laughed so fucking
British
hard when
on
Kiara said
Tuesday,
British.
Tuesday, innit?
She did the fucking
Even
British.
Arn Arn sounds like
Of
a
course.
little boy, like a little toy boy.
He is a fucking toy boy, dude. He's
Oh,
like
fuck you.
5'1" and like 13.
5'6", 19. You fucking
Midget.
It's funny when the
Stick boy.
Chad Mexican is taller than you.
Yo, yeah,
Look,
dude,
does
the
that make
fucking
you feel?
Mexican is taller than you. You can't even call
Yeah,
How
yourself
does that make
a
you feel,
Viking.
motherfucker?
Yeah, well,
The fucking hunched
I
over
can call
being
ice
is
on your
taller
ass,
than
so-
you.
yeah, we'll see. I can turn him from 6 foot above ground to 6 foot underground with one simple phone call to ice. So maybe
I've got
watch
my
yourself.
papers. I don't gotta work that. I don't gotta worry.
Yeah,
Listen, my
sure.
man Biden has got my back. I'm riding with Biden.
Oh yeah, you riding with Biden? Oh god. So anyway, apparently the person fixed the story for a smoother read. 11621. Interesting. Question. When was that
That
post
sounds-
made?
When was that post?
When was that
29.
post made?
29th.
I see.
Ah, damn.
Yeah.
So right
2 weeks
before
after.
he got people to pull a bunch of attention on it.
Yeah, right before he goes around saying that his story is an ass, he just so happens to edit it. I see. Interesting. Wait, but I thought all of the criticism he got wasn't valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Wait,
course.
if his criticisms weren't valid, then why did he have to fix his story?
I wonder. I do wonder.
Hmm.
Big
They're
thonking
coming.
hours, boys.
Tormund
Thonking.
said. His face was pale and drawn, and his hair and his beard were even greater
What?
tangled.
Guys,
if
what?
that was
Why are there
so
possible.
many ends?
Guys,
And.
What?
gonna love this.
Yeah.
Latest FBI crime statistics show a sudden drop in human trafficking cases after the GameStop Wall Street scam.
Wait,
Hmm.
wait. How are these two related?
What?
Oh, you want because the billionaires just lost the money they were using to traffic children.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh.
That's
By the way,
beautiful. That
an update on the whole GameStop thing is we're now at $20 million confirmed loss, not speculated loss, because the
Billion.
yeah, 20 billion.
just 23.
Yeah.
We need to get. Those are rookie numbers. We need to pump those numbers up.
The speculated number currently is something like 90 or something, 90 billion or something. Like if all the shorts had to be fulfilled, it's something like a loss of like 90 billion. We're currently at a filed 20 something billion loss for Wall Street, because apparently other hedge funds tried to like get in after
Oh, no.
Melvin filed for bankruptcy. They're like, oh well, surely
no.
they'll sell now, and they they bought months
They were
worth of
wrong.
shorts.
Diamond hand, boys. Diamond hands.
Bump it.
All they had to do was let the meme go through, but no.
They're like, oh, well, now that Melvin is bankrupt, they won't do the same to us.
It possibly can't happen twice.
The fools.
It can't possibly
the fools
happen 11
underestimated
times.
The power of internet on.
Joke's on you. We can be retarded longer than you can be solvent.
Yes, it's just the perfect epitomization of that. I had not heard of this.
Yeah, it's
How's-
great. It's fucking
Nobody
perfect.
posted that piece of information. Oh, you know what? Though, we took Melvin out, but guess what? All the other hedge funds decided to try and short GameStop because they thought we were going to let go.
Oh,
Nope.
Fucking, you know what it is? Have you guys seen the Tom Ska What Happened skit?
No.
The Tom
Nope.
saw Tom and what? The
Tom
who?
Ska, he's a comedian.
Tom,
So,
I thought you said Thomas Sowell, but
yeah,
mispronounced.
so
it.
Tom
Okay,
Scott,
tell
he
me.
had this skit called What Happened, and the premise is that this guy shoots himself in the head with a gun. And the cops come in, and they're like, what happened? And the wife is like, well, you see, he picked up this gun here, and she puts it to her head, and he put it to his head, and then she pulls the trigger, and shoots himself. And then another cop comes in, looks to the first cop, and is like, what the hell just happened? And the first cop goes, well, you see, and he picks up the gun, and he puts it to his head.
That's a perfect description of what's going on.
So to get back on track, boys, I gotta go play video games with my little sister soon. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
Let's hurry
so
it up.
let's hurry this up. So
in the basement.
in the basement,
even under his numerous furs.
Furry.
How many
So
fucking
many
furs is this man wearing?
Numerous.
Like Jesus Christ,
37.
You just
kinda
read
like-
it. It says numerous.
It
There's your
looks like-
answer.
Yeah, I know, but like that's gotta fucking smell. Like you really don't. Also, that's another thing I hate that Hollywood did is the people that wear their fur outside.
Yeah.
It's like, no, the fur wouldn't be on the outside. That's fucking dumb. Why would you put the fur on the outside? That you're not being warmed by that. The whole point of wearing a fur is to be warm from it. The only reason
I don't know why
Anything
you're.
else?
Huh?
I was just saying, I don't know why you're injecting some like realism into this shit. I don't expect that
I'm
from
just
my
saying,
HBO.
I hate that Hollywood does that. So anyway, so
Listen,
yeah,
we put the catapults in front of the castle, okay? We put all our troops outside of the castle, in front of the castle, okay? We're gonna take our cavalry. It's light cavalry. I know that light cavalry doesn't usually like go to the center of a formation, but we're gonna make them go to the center of the formation.
look,
and
she was just cutting her
I
losses.
can just keep going.
She doesn't have to
And our
pay them
enemies will
off if
die of
they're all dead.
laughter or confusion.
Look, it's just a classical maneuver. You kill all your mercenaries before you have to pay them.
Power
Sure,
move.
yeah, maybe.
By the way,
Let's send the light cavalry into the dark where they can't even see.
this entire
Yeah.
stonks thing,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it makes me feel like 40k orcs.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. No, yeah, it's absolutely.
Like,
We
it's
are
just
definitely
feel-
40K
I feel like-
orcs, yeah.
Y'all were
We're
already
the-
40k orcs.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We're just the orcs from 40k. That's perfectly explains the outlook we have on this.
Look, it's all been priced in already. Okay, all of it's been priced in. even the stuff that hasn't been predicted yet, already priced in.
Exactly.
It just works.
I can't stop laughing though. You, hey, the Melvin's down. Let's see if we can get on this. They're fucked.
They all did now. Thank you. Care to share our fire? Jon Snow waved at an empty spot next to him, one of the few spots that was clear of snow and ice. The wildling hesitated for a moment, but then sat down. Jon considered teasing him for the sentimentality. Of what? Not sitting? But they were all sentimental these days, with how few of them were left. Jon Snow had only 10,000 men left to his name, and the closest thing to a master was Tyrion Lannister, who sat at the same fire huddled against his brother. Everyone else, Davos Seaworth, Samwell Tarly, Gilly, Bran, Ser Jorah Mormont, Sir Beric Dondarrion, the Hound, Lady Breen, Sir Bronn of Blackwater, Lord Sansa. What the fuck? Lord Edmure Tully, Queen Daenerys. They had all joined the army of the dead. By the way, that was all one sentence.
Oh,
Jesus you should probably
Christ.
check yourself because that cough, I think it sounded a little wet. Did you get any blood in that?
Not yet. That's usually later.
That cough sounded nasty. Are you okay?
I haven't been for 10 years. It's all
Yes,
right.
not been okay for a very long time.
He had
So,
no idea where his cousins Sansa and Arya were. Well, why didn't they just stab the Night Lords with a small knife? I mean, all you have to do is apparently run at them and scream.
Excellent.
Fucking Game of Thrones.
Sir.
You can't make
Sir
me care about Game of
Podrick
Thrones.
Payne. But he
I
could
mean,
only
Read
assume
the
they
books.
were
That's
dead.
all I'll say.
No.
The Night
then stop
King
bitching.
now easily boasted 500,000 souls. But if there was a silver lining to this dark cloud, he held no dragons. They were to the
He held
best
only
extent.
Jamie.
Wait, what the fuck? They were able to kill the first ones he rode, and the other two had their heads cut off, and their carcasses burned in holy fire.
Excellent.
Did he say in Harley? Did he
No,
actually say in Holy Fire?
No.
I was gonna-
It was blah blah blah. Carcasses burned to the best extent after they were mortally wounded. Without the mighty power of the dragons, their attempts to fight back the long night were crippled, and now the odds were impossible. Well, if the dragons can fight back the long night, then how do they get mortally wounded in the first place? Unless they did something incredibly stupid, like fly them next to a bunch of ships that could mortally wound them.
Danny kind of forgot about
Might be onto something.
John's fleet.
Yeah, yeah, she kind of just forgot about it, you know. It's one of those easy things to forget about, the giant fleet.
Who's C8 and who's Shadow? Are they both present here in this video chat?
Shadow's here, C8 is in the chat.
He's a Brazilian boy.
Yeah. He is in the jungle.
Isn't he also taller than you?
Yeah, C8's
Taller than me?
you. No,
No, taller.
Shut the fuck up.
Give
There aren't that
fuck.
many people taller than me.
Look, like literally everyone in this chat is taller than Arn.
Yeah.
I envy
I mean,
you, Arn. It sucks
so-
being tall.
Yeah. Look, right.
Yeah, I know, right? Everyone asks
He's
you
like,
to get
"Fuck
things for them. You like. You
I'm
actually
just
have to-
expecting more rolls soon. More
Yeah.
It
rolls
takes
that
less
are just
food to fill
dickish.
you.
Yeah, right.
You get more space and cars and planes.
I mean, the leg space is actually legit.
Yeah, no, the leg space is it is clown car proportions getting out of my mom's cube. I don't know what the fuck they're called. Well, it's that fucking tiny ass car, right? That's built for like someone that's like 4'9", and like
Oh, those
Yes.
things.
Asian car.
I am literally 2 feet taller than this
Tojo-sized
car. Okay, I'm 2 feet taller than this fucking car, and getting out of that thing is like a fucking clown car moment where I'm like unfolding as I'm getting out.
So
I
now
like
I
getting out
have to
of my
try read a.
Hmm?
I have to read a Pokemon Warhammer 40k fic because Shadow is making.
Oh, Pokemon Warhammer 40. What the fuck?
That sounds based as fuck.
Well, you
Published
can't post that in the comment.
2019.
Pokemon Brutal and Cunning version. In the grim
It's-
darkness of the future, there is only Pokemon battles.
But it's because I posted this image of the orcs having Bulbasaurs and / Venusaurs.
Based.
And
it's
so
li-
he's
it's
like, well,
literally-
because
yeah, no,
It's only
just-
about
yeah.
600 words long.
It's pretty cringe too, to be honest.
Aw, sad.
Sad moment.
what is this gray guy even talking about? That his bones are 60% dissolved. What the fuck?
Gray has
Gray's
go
got
on
some
to-
health issues as well.
more than a few.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Too many
Gray.
to list.
I
What
don't know
is-
why, but I've been blessed with amazing health.
What it is.
Oh, I
I'm
too
sad
had
it's gonna
amazing
be
health. Don't get me
broken.
wrong. My lung issues have nothing to do with my my actual health. I actually am a very strong immune system. Basically, never get sick. Well, that was true until my parents put me into a mold-filled basement and told me I had to live down there for 2 years. So now I have a compromised immune system for the respiratory
Excellent
stuff.
I need to start jogging. I've always had such terrible cardio, except when I surfed. I need to start properly exercising instead of just doing dumbbells or weights.
Nah,
like
just,
I was,
just-
'cause all
just
I do
it
is
harder. Just
Yeah.
lift harder.
Just lift harder. Lift
Nah,
heavier.
just
No,
do
I should
hip
start jogging.
thrusts and then like cry.
Yeah, just stand outside your local gym and start lifting
No,
as
don't.
big as weight as possible while hip thrusting. And you
That shit makes you cry. I've never been in as much pain as doing hip thrusts, man.
I've
That
never
shit
done a hip
hurt.
thrust.
It hurts. Okay? I'll just say
Ew.
that.
Well, you know, it's one thing that Arn will never have to practice.
Oh, I'd like for you to
Fucking
never speak
degenerate
again.
weeb. Your
Yeah,
2D
yeah.
waifu will never
know.
be real.
Am I ruining Anna for you?
No, actually.
No,
You're
it's
not.
turning
It
them
is.
on.
Oh, that's gross, bro.
Bruh. I'm just gonna
Regardless,
mute my headset real
everyone
quick.
and everything he knew up until this point
Be back in a
was
bit.
Jerk off.
dead.
No,
You
fuck off.
fucking disgusting.
Before we march to meet
sit
our
cunt.
deaths, does anyone want the hot water? Tyrion asked. Anything
What?
to drive the cold away, Tormund said with a hollow chuckle. Tyrion pulled away from his brother, grabbed a copper pot, and stumped out of the dilapidated bedroom that they had turned into a shelter to stave off the wind. Jon reached into his pack and pulled out the last of their rations. A piece of hardened bread and slices of salted venison. He passed what little he had around, giving Tyrion double rations. Jaime remained unmoved, appeared to be hypnotized by the fire. Jon heaved a sad sigh. Jaime was never quite the same after his head injury. All he could say now was Hodor.
Oh my god.
No, I'm just kidding.
No!
I'm just fucking with you.
Don't ruin
Yeah,
it
the troll.
worse.
But he was a shadow of his former self after Brienne died.
Like Shadow after
Time
starting fanfiction.
was impossible to tell during the long night, where the sun failed to rise.
Yeah,
a
been there,
year-
done that.
Earlier, yeah, people in
Who cares?
Norway,
People who
Sweden,
live
and
in
Alaska
Norway.
all laugh at you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, the sun doesn't show up.
It's been
yeah,
night
whatever.
for 6 months now.
Well,
Must
to
be
be
great for
fair,
your sleep.
it's been like nighttime for years for them. So
Yeah,
it's
well,
like,
you know, we have clocks,
I
we
don't get the
really
joke.
care.
So effectively, this is the one part about Song of Ice and Fire I never really liked. Effectively, their seasons didn't account for months. It went for years. So, like, they would have a 10-year season of summer, and then have, like, a 5-year season of winter.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
What
fucking
the
make
fuck is that
magic?
orbital path?
Yeah.
oh,
what?
it's not. It's supposed to be like influenced by magic. It's not
Well,
that they're.
you see,
It's not that
Song
their
of-
rotation is not different.
No,
it's
no,
that,
you
like-
see, the Song of Ice and Fire is actually a flat Earth,
Oh fuck
and
you.
Wait, really?
Oh, yeah.
No, it isn't. Ignore him. He's being fucking retarded.
Excellent.
I
Hold on,
love
whoa,
Discworld.
No, hold on, I have seen plenty of threads on space battles explaining how.
And as we all know, Space Battles is definitely a place for smart people.
You almost made me interested in Song of Ice and Fire. Still shit.
I don't care.
Alright, alcohol time.
Yeah, I've been drinking this whole time as well.
Ah,
I don't know if you could tell.
first shot.
I need to read the Discworld books because everything
They're
I've ever
good.
seen of Discworld I've loved.
Yeah.
The Christmas movie especially. Oh, that was awesome.
So blah 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 blah. But a year earlier, Jon had been going over maps in his tent, hoping to make sense of the landscape they were in. A year earlier, and they still don't know the landscape?
Yeah, no. Are they? They're in the north. It's not like they've left.
But the snow made it difficult.
I mean,
Yeah, because you
I
can't
guess?
tell natural landscaping because there's so much fucking snow. How much fucking snow
I
is
mean,
that?
if you had a topographical map of the land features on Antarctica, would you be able to make your way across it? No.
Yeah, actually.
I mean, I wouldn't
What?
want to because it's cold as fuck. But probably.
It's like the actual landmass is like under a mile of ice in
Yeah.
in most places. You can't
In
find
Antarctica.
any landscapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better off not even trying.
No.
Yeah.
You look, you just
Unless
keep
your name
flying.
is Roald Amundsen,
Look,
in which
you
case.
just keep in
you're blessed
Antarctica. All
Norwegian.
you have to do in Antarctica, all you have to do is you have to keep flying until you get pinged by radio control saying that this is a no-fly zone, and then you keep going, and then that's where you meet the aliens, and they'll take you out. It's easy, super
Oh, yeah.
simple.
Excellent.
I thought there was no.
Not to
There's
find
not
the
aliens
Nazi
there. It's a
UFOs.
big old hole.
Yeah, it's a
just
massive
big
hole. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a massive
Oh yeah,
hole.
you found
Imagine-
Arn's mom. Big holes.
Hey.
No, it's actually really interesting because this giant hole the size of like a small country is actually listed as a U.S. air testing base
Hmm.
that doesn't exist.
Hmm.
So
I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
the giant hole in Antarctica, there's this massive, like, giant crater that the U.S. has listed as a air flight testing base, and the base doesn't exist, but it's still listed as that, so they can enforce a no-fly zone around it.
I thought it was. I never heard that excuse. All I ever heard for an excuse was that, oh, that's just a compiling error for the image for the satellite images.
Yes, the satellites, they're very famous for those compiling errors that create giant craters in the Earth.
Like the black spot in where the pictures orbiting the Earth all meet up together is just because, well, we haven't gotten that photo of that place. The excuse
Yeah,
they
it's-
used.
Conveniently never managed that. Also just happens to be a no-fly zone at the same time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No,
Yep,
no
clearly,
correlation.
Secret Nazi UFO base. Of
You
course.
know, they were interested in that, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody was just telling me. I was listening to a podcast. I don't remember what it was. They were talking about. Actually, this might have been here. I don't think it was though. I forgot what story it was. It was that the Nazis still lost World War II,
Mm-hmm.
but before they did, they made first contact with aliens, and they made a deal with the aliens that if the Nazis lost, they'd come back and blow up the Earth, and if they won,
Based.
they'd give the aliens something. And so, like 100 years later, the aliens eventually came back, and the entire Earth has to pretend that the Nazis won.
Epic.
Is that what's happening now?
See, Kyle,
Have you seen Iron Sky, Rance?
no, I never finished it.
It's a fucking amazing. I love it.
It is amazing. Everything
Yeah.
by that studio is epically
Yeah.
retarded.
With my extensive experience drinking alcohol, I can wholeheartedly say Jim Beam might be the worst fucking bourbon I've ever drank.
Well, I mean, it's American, isn't it?
Yeah.
What type of what's the flavor of Jim Beam?
Leather.
Shit.
No. What's the flavor on the fucking bottle? Say.
Kentucky Straight.
Try
Leather.
their peach. It's not as bad as that. I've tried that.
Okay, well,
The
I'm
peach
not
is
buying this
decent.
alcohol. I'm just drinking it.
I mean, it's cheap.
Yes, I'm aware.
That's the selling point. It's cheap. I've bought cheap alcohol too. I buy bottles of Bacardi. It's not that expensive.
Look, hold on. Look, I have bought cheap vodka before, and it did exactly as it was listed on the label. Tasted like paint thinner and got me drunk. This tastes like I'm drinking leather polish, and it isn't getting me drunk.
I mean, maybe you are.
It made me throw up last time I got fucked. I got
What, Jim
blitzed on
Beam?
that shit. Yeah, I got blitzed on Jim Beam. I had some
Look,
Jack.
I still
something
cannot
else.
understand to this day. I still do not understand how people throw up or have hangovers.
I didn't have a hangover.
Well, I throw up
I
because in
definitely
order to get
threw up.
enough alcohol in me,
I
in
throw
order
up
to
due
get
to my
enough
chronic
alcohol-
nausea, so, you know.
I throw
I
up because
know.
in order to
Like
get
8
enough
shots.
alcohol in me.
But, like, that's where I
Maybe
just
even
see
slightly
everywhere in media and shit of, like, people puking in toilets and crap. And I'm like, I've never even had a queasy stomach after drinking, like, a liter of alcohol. Like,
Dude,
that'd
I
be-
fell
in
into
order
the
to-
bathtub. I fell into the bath. I'm not joking. I, fell in that bitch.
You fell
threw
into the
up and then
bathtub,
got
was
up.
it full of alcohol?
No.
Ah.
I threw up a little bit, and then I went and lay down, and then I went to bed, and that was it. I got up, I was fine the next day. I was blitzed,
Okay.
dude.
Okay, my turn, please.
Go.
Yeah.
I've puked from alcohol because when I start drinking any kind of alcohol, long
He cut out for me.
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
out for me as
He
well.
died.
The
He's dead.
FBI is on to him. Rance, you gotta get out of there.
Get us, Skeet. Get your van
They're
going.
closing in on you, man.
Yeah.
Alright, so while we wait for Rance to
Bring
come
the
back,
kids
let's
along
keep
with the van
going.
this time.
So anyway, blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Tormund's gruff voice had sounded outside the tent flaps. That's a really disgusting passive voice right there. Snow! A rider's arrived. A rider? John asked, incredulously. Why do you have to add that?
Have I returned?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. No comments. Alright.
Oh, you cut out.
Okay.
You cut
I was
out,
saying
dude.
that I
Like,
get
right at the beginning.
long before I get even close to tipsy. If I drink alcohol,
Mm.
I actually just get really, really hungry. So I end up overeating while I drink a lot, and then I throw up.
Mm.
Yeah.
So by the
understandable.
time I'm tipsy, I have a stomach that's overfilled and just a slight dizziness from being tipsy. Yeah, it's coming out.
I think the closest I was to ever throwing up after drinking was on Thanksgiving with my family, where I consumed about 1.5 liters of vodka in the span of like an hour. And also,
The only time.
because it was Thanksgiving, I also fucking ate like 4 servings of a full plate of food. And I was like, wow, I'm fucking bursting. And I actually blacked out drunk right at the end. And I stumbled downstairs and I passed out on the floor. And then I got up like maybe 3 hours later. I was like, wow, not only am I now sober, I'm also hungry again. And so I went back upstairs and continued drinking and eating. And my whole fucking family is just like, what the fuck?
I've only ever managed to actually get fully drunk once. And it was with an entire case of Red's Wicked Black Cherry. It's like 8% alcohol soda. Tastes really good. And it was on November 20th, 2016, as I watched the 2016 election.
Oh.
It was one of the funnest nights of my life. It was like
Yeah,
an
that's
8-hour-long live stream with some of my friends, including the Beckloff. We just did an election night special, and it was amazing.
Nice. Anyway,
I was shit-faced. The only time it's ever happened.
I've gotten shit-faced maybe like 3 times in my life. Blackout drunk, I'm talking. Like
I didn't black out.
Yeah, no. Apparently, I'm completely cognizant when I black out, and am fully able of doing complicated things like shutting down Discord, turning my mic off, putting my headset back in place, getting to my bed, brushing my teeth. All things I was fully able to do while blackout drunk.
Can you add covered, changing fix to covered to that list?
However, what I can't do while blackout drunk is remember to change fix to covered, and I also can't remember how to walk. So there is a minor flaw in me being blackout drunk. And that's all the tasks that I can do require walking. And apparently I have difficulty doing that. So, anyway, lots of passive voice. I assume this is some sort of flashback filled with adverbs and more YA spag.
YA. Martin's a very adult author. It's killing me.
So, send him in, John called out eagerly. They hadn't heard from his cousin's party in months. They had gone to seek refuge in the Vale, and with the blustering winds, ravens could no longer be trusted to deliver messages. Blustering winds. Author, I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Blustering winds sounds like a dude who like
Yeah, exactly.
Blustering winds sounds like an insult.
Like President Taft, like doing the fucking
Nixon jowl movement.
Yeah, no, the jowl movement that fucking.
You guys know
man, the Gungans do.
That is a proper description for wind, right? Like, did you ever watch
really?
Mary Poppins? Yeah, do you remember that Mary Poppins?
Never heard wind
Mary
in
Poppins
my life be referred to as blustering.
Yeah,
It
no,
sounds
but I
like
always
something I'd
remember Mary
insult
Poppins
somebody with.
because I'm pretty sure it's a British English thing.
Oh, I'm gonna guarantee you it's a fucking British anything.
Brit bongers.
Where's this author from?
Listen to this. Somebody
Cringe
wrote
world.
a tweet.
Islamic
guys know who
Caliphate
Razor
of
Fist is, right?
Britnistan. Yeah, of course.
You guys know Razor Fist, right?
Yeah.
Of course. Who doesn't?
His tweet: Alexandria Ocasio-Chavez is a bog standard DNC partisan, yada yada yada. Response: It's Cortez. His response: It wasn't a typo. Alexandria Ocasio-Chavez. Like, it wasn't a typo.
No, that wasn't a typo.
It was not this idiot.
Well,
He's
they
calling you
don't say
Chavez.
where they're from. So
Yeah, no, I have at Sense One. What? Okay, okay. Yeah, I have literally never in my life seen blustering referring to weather. I've only ever seen definition 2, speaking loud and aggressively, usually paired with someone that is also fumbling, in other words, or trying to inflate their self-image.
Yeah, I've seen both. I've seen and heard both senses of the word. Like I said, I only remember it because of Mary Poppins as a kid, and
So
thinking that's a weird way to use that word.
All this is
I
telling
only
me, Max,
saw Mary Poppins once, and it was so long ago, I remember nothing about that.
Yeah,
movie.
all this is telling me, Max, is that I was correct about the South being a time capsule of old Britain.
yeah.
Surprised that you know what? Yeah, you have said that a few times. It
Yeah.
probably doesn't help though that I have read probably more than you ever have, just in terms of like actual fiction.
Yeah,
Like-
probably true.
Officially published works. I've probably read a lot more than you have.
I've also
I'm
only
trying
read I don't really tend to read British authors. I think J.K. Rowling was the only British author I've ever read a book from. No.
If I had
no, I
spent
never got around
all
to
of
Lord of the
that
Rings.
time I spent reading fan fiction instead of reading actual fiction, I'd have an actual literature bachelor's degree right now. That's depressing.
Oh, yeah,
probably
these
would be
things.
poor as shit because I like to buy my books. I don't like renting books.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Your horror mate.
Yeah, I guess that's
Ahoy.
the difference between you and me is like, boy, I sure wish I had easy access to a library card versus you
No,
with,
like-
boy, I wish I had money in a bookstore.
Like, no, don't get
Boy,
me
I
wrong. Like,
sure wish I
I
had
used
interest
to. I
connection.
had a library card to multiple
lived in
libraries
Ohio.
near me in New Jersey. School libraries, high school libraries, local college libraries that would allow non-college student access back in the day.
Yeah.
Local libraries and whatnot. I had a lot of library cards, and I took out a lot of books from a lot of libraries. But typically what I would do with libraries is I would be using them as a preview, I guess you could say, of fiction series, where I would take out the first book, and if I really liked the first book, I would buy the rest of the series, and then read it on my own time at my own pace, and then hold on to a copy of it.
Oh, yeah, no, I would just grab books if the first book, worked. It's like, all right, cool, this is my next 2 weeks of reading at school. I would just chew through series.
Well, my main issue is that I was really bad at remembering to bring books back.
I mean, you're just
after
bad
I
at
read them.
remembering, like, in general.
Yes, but in that specific instance, not remembering to bring a book back costs money. And
Yeah.
so after the
Imagine
fifth
that.
time of returning a book late and being fined for it, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just start buying the books. Because
That's
clearly
a good
I'm
policy.
going to be effectively buying these fucking books anyway with the rate I'm returning them at. So
Your
I
heart.
might as well just buy the book. No, this was before the days of Pirate Bay, man. This was like
I know.
like when Pirate
When he
Bay
was a wee lad.
Yeah, this is like when Pirate Bay maybe had just started at best.
Wait, hang on. Let me.
No, how old is Pirate Bay?
That's what I
It
was
doesn't
gonna
matter.
check.
When it was first started, the internet was too slow to actually pirate
launched
shit.
That's
2003.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so
like I
I'm
said.
right, yeah. The Pirate Bay wasn't really even a thing yet. Like we had fucking LimeWire. That's what the shit. That's where the Napster and LimeWire fucking sellouts.
I've been seeing LimeWire a lot more recently. People like, remember how we used to do peer-to-peer stuff? That sucked and was stupid.
Jesus Christ. It's like, all right, so downloading this, either I'm going to get a virus that's going to nuke my computer, or I'll get that song I want to listen to.
Oh, Sneaky, there was always a third option.
Both?
It was the wrong file.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's just straight up just not the correct file at all.
I
This
honestly
had nothing to do with what you searched for.
I never actually
Yeah.
used LimeWire. I was aware of it. I knew what it did. I knew what it was for.
My older sister loved using LimeWire, and she also loved using Napster, and I didn't, because even back then I had technical aptitude and I knew what peer-to-peer was, and I understood what you could use peer-to-peer to do, and her computer had hundreds of viruses on it, and she couldn't fathom how.
Woman.
And my computer didn't. Really?
Yeah, I never
weird how
got
that works.
viruses from the Pirate Bay.
Well,
It's the weirdest
for
thing.
Pirate Bay itself, I don't think was overly as long as you were not stupid about who you were downloading from. Like, don't download from the band guy. Duh.
Yeah. I think
No shit.
I
Yeah.
got only time I got an actual virus on a computer is when I pirated a game from someplace other than the Pirate Bay.
Yeah, tends to happen. I have had 9 viruses on my computer, according to, or well, malwares in general, according to Malware Bytes.
Yeah, but that's
which,
malware.
right. Which, well, I've never had any antivirus software ever pick anything up on my computer. Malware Bytes has been the only thing that's ever picked anything up.
Yeah, it's found stuff and deleted them, but even then, there was usually harmless. I think once there was a Trojan hidden somewhere. I'm like, yeah, delete that. Like, it was a very obvious Trojan too.
Yeah, I mean, it's System 32 file not in the Windows folder. It's like, I see. But I've had, like, in the past, how long have I had this
Well,
computer?
yeah,
I've
you're
had
supposed
this-
to delete that.
I've had this build for this computer since 2014, and I've had a total of 9 viruses on it since then.
That's a fair few.
Yeah. For example, in comparison, I scanned my uncle's company computer last week, and he had 139.
And that it was probably not even from doing anything. It's just the company computer.
Yeah, it was just the company computer. Like, literally all they did was they used Internet Explorer, and they went onto your basic bitch sites in Google.
Yeah.
But they were using Internet Explorer, like, 8. Like, it wasn't even Edge. It was literally Internet Explorer 8. So,
Yeah.
I think most of that's just one person on the network gets a virus and it spreads to all the other computers because one person is looking at porn and shit. And then
no,
it just spreads everywhere.
I can wholeheartedly say that the people on the network, none of them look at porn.
They're all boomers.
Well, one's got 3 kids, so she's pretty. I'm not saying they don't look at porn at home. I'm just saying not at work. Yeah, not at work. As the guy who's in charge of the traffic, I can solidly say that none of them are looking at porn.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
from
At
the
work.
computers being around for so long and just using Internet Explorer,
Yeah,
you just get the viruses.
yeah,
Well, I
pretty
mean,
much.
if they are looking at porn at work, they're using 4G, like mobile
Yeah,
data.
probably.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
fair
so-
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
They're not using the work computers to do that.
Nope.
So
They're
anyway,
smart. See?
randomly he just slams a letter. Like, for some reason, John's just reading a letter, and instead of denoting that, it's some sort of, punctuation to say, hey, this is a letter, it just literally reads, John snatched it and tore it open. And it was like, yo, hey, John, it's with great sadness I announce a shit ton of deaths, and we got jacked by bandits, and they tried to kidnap us all, but a bunch of the women died.
Based.
and we all miss you terribly, and we hope your war is going well against the Night King. Warm wishes, Lady Sansa of House Stark. Just randomly.
The formatting is different.
Yeah, I'm aware the formatting's different,
Yeah.
but this is also a flashback
Yep.
Flashbacks.
with a letter in it. I typically
I just read a story that it's a Harry Fur story. I like them. And it's like the first scene is like 2
Understandable.
paragraphs, flashback to a scene that just preceded the scene we're starting in.
Mm-hmm.
So flashback to 2 minutes ago.
Yeah,
So, like you
basically.
could have just had that as the first scene and then continued chronologically.
You could have, but they chose not to. My main issue is with flashbacks in general is I typically don't like them too much. I really never saw them like at all in published fiction. Written.
Yeah.
Published
I've
fiction.
never, aside from the Naruto animation, it's never existed anywhere in fiction.
Yeah, it's generally a very new thing as far as I'm concerned. Typically used by hack writers who really don't know how to fit an event that happened into the story. And so
I mean, it doesn't
it's
have to be a flashback. You can just have a chapter that's just taking place in a different time period.
Yeah, but they're stupid. You have to keep in mind that these guys are basically brain dead and would make rocks look intelligent. And so they
That's
don't
an insult
really.
to rocks.
They don't.
Yeah, but what's
how's that an insult to rocks? I said it makes rocks look intelligent.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said that they're comparable to rocks. Not that they were...
No, it makes rocks look intelligent.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, you're still comparing rocks to them, which is kind of rude to rocks.
Even favorably, it's not really nice.
That's fair, I suppose. I apologize to all the rocks that were.
Like, couldn't you use a better measuring stick to measure us, bruh?
Are you saying your head is a rock?
I will say one situation where I find flashbacks tolerable is in mystery TV shows when they show.
Yeah, right. Like at the end where they're showing flashbacks of what the person did, where they're explaining out what happened.
Yeah,
and the light flashing before your eye trope is good.
Yeah,
I also do like the light flashing before your eyes trope. I like that.
That's also pretty good. The only time I've ever seen flashbacks actually used was not as a flashback, but more as like a PTSD back, where like something happens and then the character's like remembering some event that caused them trauma. But it's not like it's not told in the same narrative way that like a Naruto flashback is told, because it's a PTSD flashback where like it's a lot of indistinct stuff with a very few precise details in it, and it's a lot of just feelings and like sounds and remembrance that you're doing, and not like I turned to Jim and said, "Jim, how are you today?" And Jim looked at me and said, "I am good today. Have you seen my horse? It is amazing.
Look at my horse.
Give it a lick."
Was that
on
purpose?
raisins.
Okay.
It's a Weebles reference, yeah.
I know what it is. I was asking if you did that on purpose.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
He did it on purpose.
I thought that was in the chapter you're reading.
Flashback. I did it on purpose, I said. But no, typically I don't like flashbacks. I just find that to be a really cheap form of storytelling. It also doesn't really jive well typically with narratives, because it's like, hey, this event's going on also, but now I'm going to tell you a completely different story that's tangentially related to what's currently happening.
Yeah, it just breaks the flow.
Yeah, it's really bad for the flow typically. But on top of that, I've also never seen a letter actually written as a narrative in a published fiction. I've seen people be like, "Oh, I opened the letter. Oh, what does the letter say? Oh, well, it says, blah 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 blah. Sincerely yours. Wow, what a bitch." And then they said the whole letter in dialogue. I've never actually seen it written as a narrative line. Have you guys ever read a story where they were pushing letters as a narrative line.
Yeah,
I
actually.
mean, like stories can
Harry
be told
Potter.
through.
The first Harry Potter book, the letter from
Leviathan.
Hogwarts.
The city Leviathan was a video game that all the story you got was from finding letters in the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's a video game, not
Okay. So,
like a book.
Yeah, but didn't
Very different. Very different.
Even like
Video
there's
games
even
are
like
visual
chapters
media.
in the Bibles that are all epistolaries, where it's like Paul writing to the church of whatever. This happens all the time. There's another in a short story compilation I read a while ago. It was like an alternate history one. It was an epistolary where John Adams was complaining that Ben Franklin was president.
Two things. First, the Bible isn't fiction. Second, the Bible is not a good standard by which to
I was
influence
wondering
your
when
writing.
someone was gonna say something.
I didn't say it was. Wait, but I wasn't gonna say. Well, okay, come on.
I was expecting Fedora to say something that was bullshit. that was Fedora bait. But second of all,
epistolary
the
doesn't
Bible
have
is
to be
not
fiction.
a writing standard you should use.
No, I know it doesn't have to be, but I specifically specified fiction. When have you ever seen it in fiction?
That's fair. I didn't hear the fiction. I just heard in writing.
And you just fucking came in along. Well, I saw in the Bible, and everyone's just like, oh.
Oh, you fucking assholes. Epistolaries are still a thing. That's what it's called.
It's true,
an epistolary.
but
I know. It's just the setup to the whole thing. Like, I outlined in fiction, and then you just come charging in with, well, I saw in the Bible.
I also said that as Fedora bait. I was hoping there was a Fedora here that would go all autistic about it.
No one's really that autistic about that here anymore.
Yeah,
I'm mostly agnostic, but I lean Christian. That's if that matters.
I don't really care, honestly.
I am just full on atheist.
The Norwegian here really should start reenacting the old pagan rituals of his ancestors.
Yeah, if I'm gonna be religious, that's the way. Pray to Thor. Smite my enemies. Yeah, and I'll just go and rage shadow.
Go smite some British, set out for some raids in Denmark.
Exactly. As is right and proper.
Tormund, bring Jamie to me. Alright. He brung Jamie to him. Here's the cunt.
Brung.
And Tormund said as he threw Jamie a glare.
Brung moment.
A big bruh moment, yeah. You can stay too, Tormund. Jamie's like, yo, what up? I'm just kidding, that's not actually what he said. I'm just kind of skipping through now.
Yeah, so you sneaky mom.
Sorry, blah, 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 blah. Your sister's dead, your wife's dead, your friends are dead. And he's like, yo!
Insert Krillin. Oh god, everybody's dead.
They can't be dead. Ugh.
Don't know.
Charlie Brown ugh.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, no. Anyway.
And then,
big old Charlie Brown ugh.
Tyrion found him hours later crying on the brink of death in the snow and had to nurse him back to health.
Oh, man.
Yes. John, he grinned at John when he noticed the venison and bread. Ah, yes, one last hearty meal. I can't think of a worse way to die. Probably being ripped apart by undead, to be real with you. Come, brother, I'm sure you're hungry. And he poked the pork in front of his face. Wait. He noticed the venison and bread. Then he waved the pork in front of his face. Wait, when did they get pork? That's a... what? That's a completely different animal. Unless the author is implying that combining venison and bread equals pork.
That's
that makes no sense.
You were saying?
I call it Flenison.
Missing. Flenison.
I'm gonna call you retarded.
Diamond hands.
Diamond hands.
One last hearty meal, blah blah blah. So Snow, what's the plan? Well, we don't have to. We don't have any more dragon glass arrowheads. Honestly, I see that solution. So this is a complaint generally with this section of Fix, of people with foreknowledge trying to do this whole thing where it's like, oh, we'll just put dragon glass, which is obsidian, on the arrow tips. It's like, okay, unless Dragon Glass is inherently like instantly lethal, I don't really think shooting someone made of ice with an arrow is gonna kill them. So can we get our resident retard to rule in on this?
Okay, so Dragon Glass in the show,
I like her
it
just
is
responds
that-
immediately.
Huh?
it is that lethal.
Okay. Like
In
they
the show,
touch
it is
and
that
they
lethal.
die. Okay.
Well,
have-
if it penetrates them, they die.
Okay.
I'm sure they could pick up in the same way that I can pick up
you
a
would know what
dagger.
penetration, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
He would know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
when I'm
that.
penetrating your mom, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, you know that's kind of.
Is that why the Norwegian is so short? He got
Yep,
penetrated
you got
by a
my
Mexican?
genes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Ugh.
No way, dude. I'm not criminal enough.
You're half Mexican, half Norwegian. I hate to break this to you.
Nah, I'm not black enough. You
That's
know.
why he loves them fish tacos.
A Norwegian Latina girl. That sounds delightful.
It does actually. That bitch probably be hot as fuck.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so
you know, if they would exist.
They do, motherfucker. You know they do.
No, they don't.
the other issue I
probably
have with the arrows is the wind
no.
conditions. And you can't.
Oh
really,
yeah, that is true. That's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah,
You can't be
there's-
shooting arrows effectively at that range with
Because
like.
it's always described as they all have fucking blizzards around them, and the wind's always like fucking whipping around them and shit.
Yeah, but sneaky. They use Deadeye.
Oh, right, of course, yeah,
They
use
mimic
Deadeye,
clicked
right?
before
Yeah,
fires.
they just marked the projectile. Yeah, I
Yeah, the red
forgot.
X. There's like, pew.
Fuck
Yeah.
off. But yeah, no, you're right. That is actually a legit criticism of the story.
Yeah,
Like, you can't have it be
it's
like
not just
crazy
this story.
winds.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not just
that
this
yeah,
story.
in general.
I see it very often in any story that has the character have foreknowledge of what's going on. They're like, just put an obsidian on the arrowheads and shoot arrows at them. It's like, in the blizzard, shoot at them with a normal hunting bow in a blizzard. Like, you're not even gonna use a fucking longbow. You're not even gonna use a British longbow. You're gonna use a fucking, not even gonna use a recurve bow. You're gonna use a standard ass, bent wood hunting bow to shoot at someone in a blizzard. Maybe its draw weight is at max 60 to 80 pounds, and you're gonna shoot through a blizzard with that? Okay, bro. Oh fucking K. I mean, like, if anything,
Are
yeah.
steel warhammers good against ice giants?
Warhammer.
Steel warhammers. Is that what you use against ice giants in Song of Ice and Fire?
I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea, honestly. The thing is, not a lot of people have fought the dead.
Yeah. Well, these people supposedly are experienced at fighting dead in this story. Honestly, I feel like
Fucking warhammer.
Yeah.
Shatter them.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
most weapons would be generally ineffective against the dead, just in general.
Yeah, but, like-
because
Best I can do is fire and a hammer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a big old beheading axe to
So
cut them to bits.
here's the thing. Right?
Long pikes that are with like the dragon head
Mm.
tips doesn't sound crazy.
Does that work? Like, do the undead get affected by the obsidian as well?
They seem to, yes. They seem to, yes.
Okay.
It seems to sever
okay.
whatever connection they have to the others.
Okay.
I think a pitchfork, maybe?
No, not a pitchfork.
Honestly,
No, really, think about it.
I think maybe at best you. That's really hard. Maybe like coring out a mace, and like adding a obsidian lump in each, cored out section. Maybe that's a good bet. Instead of a metal stud, it's an obsidian stud. I don't know. It's like the problem with obsidian is that it makes for a garbage blade. Just absolutely fucking garbage blade.
Yeah, it's kind of brittle.
It's really sharp, but
Cable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shatters like a motherfucker.
yeah. So it makes it a really shit blade. And the problem is that the properties that make it a shit blade also makes it a really shit blunt instrument. And you're pretty much just relying at that point on the fact that it insta-gibs anything it hits, more than the actual damage is doing. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe like instead of studding a metal mace, you core it and put obsidian on the studs instead. But
not in terms of ice and fire, but obsidian. Like we really want to, like in actual real life, we really want to use them in surgery equipment, but they keep breaking on bones and stuff.
Yeah.
We can't make stuff better than obsidian. Like we just don't have a material that's better than it.
Yeah. And it stays very sharp, which is great. But the issue is how brittle it is.
You can't really clean them.
Yeah. What I was thinking was like have a javelin, but instead of like a wide flat head, make it more like a conical going towards the center, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like, yeah, the tip can break off, but it's still there, like the very, very tip. It'll still be sharp to some degree. And also, since it's like a javelin, you don't have to actually worry about like it's snapping off completely.
Honestly, you're almost better off just using, maybe tar and shit, just using fire on them because.
Oh yeah.
The issue ultimately is that obsidian is too fragile of a weapon material to last. Because don't get me wrong, it's a good weapon material if you have to kill like 3 people. But if you have to kill, 200 people per person,
or
it's
one
not that
person
good.
with a shield.
Right? Yeah, no. It is not that good, and it also doesn't do a lot of damage to the zombie itself. I don't know if like the White Walkers can resurrect the undead after they've been
we're not
stabbed.
exactly sure if they. Well, in the show they can. Yes, in the show they definitely can.
Wait. Question: how magicked up are the undead? Because realistically, if you're undead in like a fucking blizzard, you're gonna freeze real fucking fast.
Very magicked. They're shown able to move in blizzards just fine.
They're like almost like the dead in WoW. Almost.
I haven't played
not
WoW, so
quite.
I don't care.
Have you seen the animatic where they're like in a fucking ice prison essentially?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough.
I have not.
I was going to say it, but Vamp blew the joke for me. I was going to make a long-winded joke about essentially lighting the bitches on fire. Light the bitches on fire. There you go.
Yeah,
but the blizzards.
In the show, they should have been like nuking them with fire from a long time before they even arrived. But yeah, no.
Dragons.
Like, I mean, honestly, just like some sort of tar-covered pot with a bunch of saltpeter inside it, and just launching that at them, and it's just like, well, light it the fuck up and launch it at them, and the pot breaks with the tar.
What about just digging an actual tar pit?
No, like that too.
Tar
pit. Yeah.
I don't know why it just occurred to me like a dinosaur killing tar pit.
The issue there is that there is not a lot of choke zones in A Song of Ice and Fire where that could actually be usable, because a lot of the choke points in the geography of that land involve rivers, which makes it a little bit harder to dig a ditch filled with burning fluids.
Yeah, don't say.
But you could just block those choke points so they can't go through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, kinda, but still.
Okay, honestly, at the end of the day, there's no reason at any point in time that the White Walkers would ever win. There's literally no reason. The powers that they've shown, bringing the blizzard and having some undead at their side, like, yeah, okay, wow, an undead bear. All right, so all I have to do is poke it with dragon glass. Okay, maybe that's a little bit hard to get your hands on, but like, just shoot it with a dragon glass arrow. I know I was shit posting about this. Just fucking use a spear, then run up, stab it with a dragon glass spear. It falls over dead. You leave the spear inside it. Now you don't have to worry about a fucking goddamn undead bear. Wow, how many bears could possibly die?
The shitty thing about fighting the undead is that if you leave the weapon in them, right, so that they can't come back,
right,
you have the issue that you have to then get another weapon, and if anyone dies, they then rise.
Right, but the
It's
solution,
an attritional, like
right,
really
but
attritional
the
war.
solution here is actually quite simple because the nature of a feudal society leads towards a lower population in general, and the fact that they were in the unsettled lands when they started means their population is fucking abysmal. Yeah, sure, they have maybe 1,000 zombies, but a force of 10,000 men should be able to fight that no problem. Like, unless you're saying that there is so many fucking wildlings beyond the wall that they can equal the entire civilization in terms of numbers? Like, what? Like, there is...
What he said. I think what he's trying to say is that if you took just the total number of people in rural areas versus the total number of people in major cities, it's just not comparable.
Yeah, there is no way you would win a war of attrition, even if you had to leave a weapon in every single undead to stop it from rising.
I have a counterpoint, even though I know nothing about ice and fire.
Right.
If California went to civil war with itself, just
Right.
those two deep blue cities versus everybody else,
Yeah.
the deep blue cities would lose.
Well, yes, that's because they're cut off. But the issue is in feudalism is that there's a lot less people you have to care for, and the only actual city that has to worry about logistics issues like that is King's Landing, which is entirely dependent.
We're both wrong.
Hmm.
Just a century and a half ago, 90% of people worked in agriculture.
Fair enough.
That means that most of the people were in rural areas, and they were the ones making the food. So attrition pretty thoroughly describes what would happen in a zombie takeover. They would turn the people who make all the food,
Right, but that's
that would also be the
implying
majority of people.
That's implying that no army would ever meet them, and it's not like the zombie army can really fucking hide. They're either in a blizzard, or B, in a giant moving horde, and neither thing is quite difficult to spot or quite subtle. So it's not like an army that could like sneak up and kill the farmers in the night or something. It's like it's pretty fucking obvious when the White Walker zombie horde is getting near your home, and you can just leave.
One thing, they like the ability to have like giant nukes on your side as dragons.
Yes,
it's not like understated. Like they literally melt bone.
Oh,
Bone doesn't melt. It like doesn't melt specifically.
I'm aware.
Really.
Yeah.
So like the idea that it blasts them so hard that it turns to ash, essentially. You know,
Yes.
that is not to be discounted because it literally waves away a lot of the
And then
attritional.
Daenerys goes and loses like 2 fucking dragons in some stupid ass fucking maneuver that gets like them all killed. Yeah, I'm aware, but again, first off, they shouldn't have been able to get past the wall. So in the theory that they got past the wall, they should have still been handled because again, destroying the wall isn't subtle, seeing that winter coming isn't subtle, and seeing a giant zombie horde coming is also not subtle, and you are capable of fully meeting that with the force required to kill it.
Ignoring just that, even if they aren't capable of meeting it with the force required to kill it, wouldn't every other nation say, "Okay, we got to help these guys deal with that because that's going to be our problem pretty soon"?
Yeah, this is literally a situation where it's not like, oh, the zombies will leave us alone. It's like, no, they're gonna kill everyone, so we should probably stop them before they can actually start killing
There's
everyone.
nobody who's so selfish and stupid enough to say, well, that sounds like a you problem. Nobody's gonna say that.
I mean,
No,
I'd say that.
there are, but those typically are stupid people, and they don't tend to get into that position of power.
No, seriously, every other nation would say, yeah, we're gonna have to go deal with this zombie issue right now. We're invading our neighbor's territory, and then we're leaving immediately after.
I mean, I don't see why the priests of Rylor or whatever they're calling themselves wouldn't just show up in force and be like, all right, it's time to fucking crusade and start a purge. Time to pull an Arthas on this entire continent. Like, you can't tell me they wouldn't.
I don't know who they are, but yeah, I just imagine half the religious orders of the world.
So
most,
effectively
if not all of the
imagine,
country.
effectively imagine like a fanatical Christian, except their faith causes people to explode in flame.
Well, like a Crusades fanatical Christian.
Yeah.
like not like Westboro Baptist Church assholes.
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
straight up crusade level of fanatic.
Kills me that assholes try to paint all Christians in the color of the Westboro Baptist Church, which is a single family of 52 people.
Oh, I'm aware. I was raised Pentecostal. Like, even they were nothing like the Westboro Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And
Meanwhile,
Pentecostal
what
is generally
percentage?
about as extreme as it gets.
Yeah.
Here in the States.
Yeah. Yeah. The worst Christianity has to offer in the United States are Pentecostals, who are nicer than the nicest Muslims.
So yeah. Anyway, what brought
Okay,
this
let's not get taken down.
What brought this all on
Okay.
was the fact that they said we're going to use arrows with obsidian tips to kill all the undead. And then they're like, well,
But
we're
now
just
there's
going to
too
do
many.
that. That's all we're going to do. That's our only plan is we're just going to shoot arrows at them. And then Tyrion's
I'm
like,
sticking
wow,
with the giant warhammers.
that's a pretty shit plan. And Tyrion glanced around after he said that. He's like, we really don't have any defenses here. And John's like, well, you just gotta live with it because that's how it works. You just gotta shoot arrows at them and then you win, maybe, question mark. Because that didn't work earlier, so why wouldn't it work now? Just shoot arrows at them. Duh. And Tormund's like, maybe we should do this plan on an open field where we can see them and shoot arrows at them. And he's like, what do we have to lose really? Because, there's not really anything we need to take cover from, and there's no women or children to protect anymore, so there's no real point in hiding or cowering or fortifying a position. And John was like, oh yes, I see. You all raise good points. I'm so glad you've all appointed me as the guy to give you the battle plan, and then have all thus following up with that poked holes in my battle plan that I gave you, which was nothing besides shoot arrows and win, maybe, question mark.
Asterisk.
Asterisk.
$.
GME.
To the moon, boys.
Three-eyed raven, blah blah blah, Baelish, blah 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 blah, bunch of name dropping, Tower of Cards, everyone's dead and stupid. She died when her dragon fell out of the sky, thrown by a white walking spear. Apparently
What?
dragons. Yeah,
A
apparently
white
dragon,
walking spear?
Yeah, so a
Yes,
White
they're-
Walker
they had
threw a
legs.
spear at a
No,
dragon.
I know.
And it hit the dragon somehow and then killed it. I don't know what. The dragon, by the way, was in the air. This was not a ground battle. So somehow
Well,
the
you
White
see,
Walker
Sneaky.
threw a spear at a dragon that was maybe at
Radar guided.
minimum 80 feet in the air. And it
Sam
died.
missiles.
Yeah, radar
Yeah,
guided.
Well, that's in the
Cut out
fucking
the air gun.
in the show they had something similar, but it was the dragon taking off.
That
It wasn't like the dragon was hovering around.
The dragon's in the sky, and John still remembers Daenerys' supple curves and thick thighs.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ!
Is Daenerys the white-haired girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amelia Clark.
She doesn't have curves or thick thighs.
Well, she does in
She has
this story.
curves. She doesn't have thick thighs. That bitch is sexy though. I'll say that. Amelia Clark is hot as fuck.
I do like them petite like her, yes.
Anyway, she was crushed by Drogon when they collapsed on the ground after falling from the sky. And John tried to reach her, but there was just too many undead, and he had to sit there and watch as the undead pulled her from the saddle and literally ripped her apart limb from limb.
I thought she was crushed under Drogon.
Yeah, but then the undead pulled her apart limb from limb.
So was she crushed under him, or did
Yeah.
she?
Yeah, she was. But then she was ripped apart limb from limb after being pulled from the saddle.
If she was crushed by the dragon, though, I'm assuming she'd be fucking paste.
Yeah, no.
That's a massive
see,
dragon.
Actually, what happened was that she was crushed by the dragon, but she was totally fine bodily wise, and then she just had a stun debuff, and then the undead
I mean,
pulled her out of the saddle and
I
ripped
didn't
her
be more
apart.
like her like innards turned to slime, bones crushed, but like the skin sack is just intact enough.
The
sack.
skin sack still
No.
exists.
If the dragon landed on you with that much force, your fucking intestines would shit out of your mouth.
Well, yeah, but it's
Kids,
still
could you lighten up a bit?
no.
No.
Mark Simpson. I can't do a
Drogon
Mark
had not
Simpson
been
voice.
dead, and with the last of his breath, Drogon.
Homie.
Wait, so Drogon died, but he didn't die from the fall. And with his last breath, he actually set everything around him on fire, and Jaime stabbed the undead, and he shattered into the wind.
Done.
What?
Yeah, and then Jon
retarded.
scoured the terrain around Drogon for Dany's body, but he never found her body. And if
Yeah,
she had
'cause
been
it got
turned into
ripped
a
apart.
white, it was only for a short time. I think this is the funniest bit, is like the undead ripped her limb from limb, but for some reason the White Walkers were like, yeah, we're still gonna bring back this quadriplegic.
Wait, first she got crushed. So remember, she's been like ground into paste. Then
Yeah.
the paste was separated into 5 equal parts.
Yes.
And then they're gonna bring back the paste.
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
human being.
Yeah.
I figured they'd try to bring back the dragon before her.
Yeah,
no, of course.
except they didn't.
What does a dragon matter? We can get Daenerys, the 5'2" woman.
We can get a quadriplegic woman.
Well, yeah, not even a full one. The paste woman.
75% off.
Literally. Jesus fucking Christ. This book is so bad. This fic is so bad.
The knowledge did nothing to ease the pain in his heart, and he fell to the ground, and his tears
No.
burned his skin as they trailed down his cheeks.
Martin's so much better at this. Jesus fucking Christ.
This is why I'm calling it the YA version. This is the
That's
young
so
adult
fair.
version. Like, I have never seen tears burning down in my cheeks in anything but young adult stories.
That's very young adult, to be fair.
Yeah, I know.
First off, you're crying, and
the
there's
Wizard
no
of Oz
crying in
prequel?
baseball.
The Wizard of Oz prequel?
I've never. There's a prequel.
Aren't those children's books too?
There was
What?
a Wizard of Oz No, in the movie, the one with the chick from That 70s Show as the Wicked Witch of the West, and the guy who was the green.
Weren't we
the
talking
Hobgoblin.
specifically about
Personally speaking, I always liked The Wiz of Oz. I always thought
I
that
always
was a
liked Return to
hilarious.
Oz.
I always thought that was a hilarious version. So to anyone not aware, The Wiz of Oz
Wasn't
is
that a
the
CW show?
black ghetto version of Wizard of Oz movie.
Oh
And
shit, I remember
it's
that.
Meh.
The
It's not
main
very
character was straight out of Compton. And they like got onto a fucking drug trip or some shit.
Oz the Great and Powerful. You never saw that?
Oh god, I fucking I had to watch that in. Was it 6th grade? I think it was 6th grade. So 6th or 7th grade. Ended up watching that for some class. I don't know why, but it was required for the class for me to get a grade on something, and so I had to watch it. All I remember is going into this back room that conjoined 2 classrooms together, where they had a TV with that movie set up on it, and I watched the whole thing. And I walked out of that classroom, and the teacher looks over at me, and they're like, "How do you like it?" I'm like, "I don't know what the fuck I just watched." Like that was a drug trip. I felt like I got momentarily high.
It's pretty bad.
If you marry an amputee, do you get a 25% discount on the wedding ceremony?
Yes, that is in
Well, I mean,
fact true.
depends on how much is empathied.
It depends
Like-
on how much is missing.
Yeah, we gotta break out the measuring tape. Because we're getting our shekels worth.
Break out the scales as well. Got them like way up.
But seriously, you never
I mean,
wanted
why
Oz
not?
the Great and Powerful?
Graham.
Everybody looked at John piteously.
Hello, anybody there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
You haven't seen Oz the Great and Powerful?
No.
No.
It came out like just a couple years ago.
Oh, no, that's why I didn't see it.
Still haven't.
I stopped watching movies back in like 2012.
I sort of did too. But this one was all right. It's a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. It shows how Oz got to. It's called.
So anyway, if anyone hasn't picked up on it yet, I really hate adverbs. I don't like adverbs because I see them misused so often.
I've read Elements of Style as well. Yes.
Yeah. Everyone looked at him piteously. Just say everyone looked at him with pity. What? Why this past tense adverbage? Like, what the?
Overuse of adverbs is awful. Yes, we know.
Why? It wasn't long after that John had been forced to deliver the news to Jamie that Brienne had been killed in battle. The two men had been complete opposites when they had first met, now shared the same status of the crushes dying in war.
Fuck me. This is so cringe. Why would you even say that?
Only Jamie had not moved on. He wasted away going through the motions of living. He hadn't tried to kill himself. Since the first night, at least.
Yeah, we know that for sure.
But John had no idea what kept him putting one foot in front of the other. Perhaps he and Tyrion were tied
His muscles.
closer than he could realize. I wouldn't be surprised that Jamie was engaging in some classic Lannister incest.
I mean, that's just how it be sometimes.
A lot. You get closer and they catch you, then you turn into one o' them. Just a wide line of them marching at us? Yup. Okay. Well, might as well meet them on an open field. Any estimate? Probably not for a couple of hours. They walk pretty slowly. See, that's the other thing where it's just like, how the fuck are you not able to outrun the undead? Like, how
You just
did they
walk alone.
like, literally, according to this
Just
author,
turn
you
and
can
walk.
literally outwalk them. So how did their numbers swell so massively in this scenario if you can literally outwalk them? Like, a blizzard starts coming in, and then you start hearing the moans on the wind, and you're like, oh, well, they're maybe at least 4 hours out still. I can probably pack up all the shit as a peasant I'll ever need and get the fuck out of here in the next 10 minutes. It's like, oh, yeah, wow, the undead horde doesn't increase in size because of how fucking easy they are to avoid. It's like, Jesus Christ, it's not like we're working, fucking Left 4 Dead here, where the undead are also mutating and turning into stealth assassins and shit. Like, for fuck's sake. So, anyway, yeah, lots of undead coming, and blah blah blah, rally the troops, blah blah blah, we're all gonna die, don't hope we die, I know what I'm doing. And then he looked at the fire a bunch, and he's like, man, we've all been injured. And blah 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 blah, dominant hand, blah 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 blah, very impressive Jamie Lannister. And then all of the mishmash soldiers were wearing mishmashed armor and furs and anything else to keep them warm. And most of them held banged up shields and swords and pillaged spears. But instead of usual steel,
Be okay, Stannis.
they were replaced with dragon glass.
I think Stannis
fucking
is just dying. Excellent.
What is that
May-
sound?
That's the sound
Did
of
somebody fall asleep?
Yeah, no, it's the sound of a Mexican being sabotaged in his soul area.
Yeah.
Or he fell asleep.
Somebody passed out drunk. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
it's also possible he fell asleep.
Yeah.
I thought it was a. I'm not gonna say it.
It's the sound a Mexican makes when they're asleep. You can hear it from a
I
mile
know.
away.
I grew up in a very diverse group home system.
Mm.
Yes.
My condolences.
If you ever put your ear up to a wet bean, you can hear it make the same sound as you squish it.
Yeah.
No, it's a pug. It's a pug snoring.
It's true. True
I mean,
fact.
It's the sound of
Spanish,
what a-
pug, same thing.
It's a pug dog sleeping. That's what it sounds like. That's what it always sounds like with Mexicans
Exactly.
and Puerto Ricans
Anyway, so a bunch of blah blah
of a certain
blah.
age.
Then suddenly the Night King just decides to show up and duel John. And the Night King was using a wicked sharp pyramid dagger.
A pyramid dagger? What?
Yes, it was a pyramid,
pyramid
dagger. Yeah.
Yeah. Pyramid.
What's a
dagger.
pyramid dagger?
Yeah, it's
A
a pyramid
pyramid
dagger.
It's not an actual type of knife, is it?
It's a pyramid dagger. A pyramid.
No.
A dagger.
I've heard of three-sided knives before with the intention of basically making a wound so grievous that you can't stitch it back up, but I don't
Yeah.
see a
Yeah,
reason
no, they're
why
not.
you would use...
They're not like
I think
cone shaped.
they're
For
referring
some
to
reason, it
pyramid
auto-corrected to peanut dagger. Pyramid dagger auto-corrected to peanut dagger.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so he shows up with a pyramid dagger, and John glanced at his side, and he's like, oh shit, I can't stand up anymore. And because I'm dying, that means humanity has lost. It wasn't supposed to end like this. And there was a smirk on the Night King's face. And once he was dead, his Valyrian steel would be lost, and everything that stood between the Night King and victory was Jaime Lannister. And the Night King raised his sword and was ready to behead Jon, and Jon was looking defiantly at the Night King. And then suddenly, a pair of arms wrapped around the Night King, and it's a 1 KO! No, I'm just kidding.
KO.
He goes for the German suplex!
I posted an image. I'm guessing it's a dagger that looks like this.
Kinda.
It's possible.
Probably. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
It's the dagger that killed the old ones.
It's 3:10 a.m.
Okay.
We'll see
Star
you guys
Wars.
next time.
The Clone Wars.
Right, yeah, so, anyway, a bunch of blah, 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 blah. They all die, and John's like, I don't want to die like this. And then a bunch of the gods are talking. For some reason, the gods are just casually all talking with each other. Like some fucking, like it's some fucking internet relay chat. They're just like,
well, they're very
hey.
old, and old people like talking.
Yeah,
That's
they're
the
like,
only
yo,
pleasure they
hey,
get out of
the
life.
humans are dead. Oh, damn, that's a shame. I liked the humans. They were cool. I hate the Night King. Wow, I sure do hate the Night King, too. Oh, man, do you think we should, like, rewind time to fix the whole humans dying thing? And they're like, actually, that sounds like a pretty cool idea. Yeah, let's go rewind time. Oh, who do we send back in time for this? Oh, I think we should send those two random-ass humans that just died to the Night King. We should send them back in time. Oh, yeah, it's a great idea. Let's do that. So then they do that. That's the end of chapter 1. Fucking riveting story. Honestly, the most exciting thing about this story was all the times we weren't talking about it.
I agree.
So,
Do
overall...
I have a third?
Huh? Go for it.
No, I said, can I get a third?
Oh, no.
Can I get somebody third
no
to
one else
motion?
is talking here. Just you and me. Yeah, so honestly, in the end, I wouldn't give this a 4.5. As far as Fix It Fix goes, I mean, at least they spent the whole first chapter explaining the characters and their current motivations and why they are the way they currently are. But the problem here is inherent with all Fix It Fix that try to go the AU route of like some horrendous non-canonical thing happens, and so they have to go back in time and prevent the non-canonical thing from happening. is that there is so much going on in the story that wasn't explained that I'm just utterly not interested. I give this a 1 out of 5, maybe a 0.5 out of 5. Honestly, the first
Out of
chapter,
the kind of shit you've read in the past, this gets a 1?
compared to the shit I've read in the past, I'll give this a 2.5 out of 5. Its spag is usually good. There's a lot of questionable word choices. There's a lot of questionable phrasing, a lot of questionable usage of emphasis and set up and flow. I generally don't like stories like these, however, so I might be judging it a little bit more harshly, but I'm just flat out not interested in this story whatsoever. And it's not just because the author was a prick on Reddit. If I had seen this story normally, like if someone recommended this story to me normally and I picked it up and I started reading chapter 1, I wouldn't read chapter 2. I probably would not, if it wasn't for this podcast, I probably would have never gotten past half of chapter 1. Because this story is just so fucking uninteresting. The entire, maybe I would say 80% of the first chapter is just a bunch of guys sitting around the fire being like, man, isn't it so bad? Yeah, dude, it's totally bad. Yeah, this is so terrible. The AU universe we're in sucks, man. Oh yeah, wow, this stuff really sucks. And then a bunch of flashbacks.
So how fucked are we? Oh man, so fucked.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then a bunch of
fucked.
flashbacks come up and be like, oh yeah, a bunch of people died. And it's like, oh wow, thanks author for telling me a bunch of people died, even though it completely is going to be invalidated in like the next 30 minutes once you get to fucking chapter 2 finally, because it's a fix-it-fic and you're going back in time. So like, there's no impact from the fact that the author's telling us everyone's dead. Like, specifically naming all these fucking characters are dead. It's like, why are you specifically wasting my time telling me the specific names of the characters that died in an apocalypse scenario if within the next fucking chapter you're going to erase all of that? Oh, well, it's so you feel bad for the main characters. Then just say everyone fucking died. What's so difficult about that? Oh wait, not fucking at all. But you're too up your own ass about writing young adult garbage that you're like, no, I have to mention every character the reader is remotely familiar with and assure them that they are in fact dead so they can form some fucking attraction to this story somehow in my twisted ass mind.
So hey, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think this is a 2 out of 5 star story. In my point of view, a 1 star is an F, a 2 star is a D, 3 stars a C, 2 stars a 4 stars a B, 5 stars an A.
Okay.
The only time something gets a 0 star is if it's an incomplete. Like if it deserves an incomplete. This doesn't deserve an incomplete. It's a 2 star. It's boring. Grammar's fine. Writing's fine. It's not an F. Just a D.
Yeah, pretty much. I just, if you haven't noticed, I just really despise fix-it-fics that are just like, I'll just gonna send everyone back in time, but also you have to feel bad for the main characters because everyone died. Like, whatever.
Like the only, I'm trying to think, story, Romulus Volpine.
Mm-hmm.
Does that ring any bells?
Never heard of it.
It's alias Harry Potter from a really terrible future took when he started assassinating people because he became an assassin.
Oh, okay.
Romulus Volpine. So if I Google that in quotes, I'm sure it'll come up. It's a pretty good fanfic. It pretty much Hermione says fuck all this, and she tries to go back in time.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry tries to stop her because he likes this future, because he likes killing people.
Okay.
Fox's Fate. I do recommend it. It's a very good fic. I'm not sure if I would call it a fix-it-fic. Oh, finish what?
Is the story completed? Is it finished?
No.
Is it still updating?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I'll check it out then.
Yes, it's pretty good. I don't want to spoil too much, but what happened and why he went dark is because Hermione accidentally left with Ron when he had his hissy fit, so Harry was left alone with the Horcrux for months. and eventually he said he decided to make himself useful by learning dark magic, and boy did I learn it, and burned everything down with fiend fire. And he was like, "Yep, time to really get started on this war thing."
Mm-hmm. No, I dig
like
that.
what-
I dig that. Yeah, that sounds actually like
Yeah.
cool though. Like the inherent problem is that fix is a certain trope where you negate all of the things that possibly made a story good. Like
Yeah.
Pain destroying Konoha, while silly, it was a major character development moment for Naruto. And if Pain never destroys Konoha and Naruto doesn't have that character development moment, then that's detracting from the whole story. Like Naruto
Any
needs
time
to
travel
develop.
fic that does the future needs to lament the loss of that future, just the good
Right.
and the bad.
Right, exactly, and I've seen a fair few, but the problem is it ultimately becomes any good time travel fic where they go back into the past and try and save the future in a way that won't like completely send it off the rails and careening into a ditch. They're all dead. All the good ones are pretty much dead, because all the authors at some point just realize, wow, this is way more work than I feel like putting in to a fan fiction story, and that's it's fair enough, because it is a lot of work. You not only have to come up with counters to every single canon event that might happen without the butterfly effect, bouncing it off, but you also have to come up with a completely original plot that somehow also at the same time either lands on the goal that the whole time travel fic was about, or falls short of it in some way that closes the story. Because you have to then make sure that if it ends in a negative manner, that they can't just go back in time again and try again.
My philosophy with the time travel story, even though I haven't written one,
Yeah.
it would be that unforeseen consequences should be expected.
Right, exactly, and that is what you have to play up. And the problem is making your own plot and significantly your own plot. Like I'm not just talking like, all right, well I'm going to take the Chunin exams and make it a little bit different, but it's still the Chunin exams. It still works with the Chunin exams, and events that happen around the Chunin exams still happen. It's not that there is no framework for fan fiction authors to work off of when it comes to time loops or the later on in points in time loops, because
Pretty much with Harry Potter, I view it as if they go back in time, their roadmap stops being effective after about a month. So they have to make the most out of it as quickly as possible. Because shit's going to go off the rails real fast.
Right. And it's a lot of things that authors only realize after they start getting into it, where they're just like, oh,
I'm just writing the same story I've already read. I'm just writing the Harry Potter story.
Yeah, you either end up rewriting Harry Potter, or you end up not writing the story at all because you have to come up with something so original that it's not worth the effort. But anyway,
I don't remember the story, but one time travel fic, Harry and Hermione. I don't remember how. Oh, he snuck into the department. One of the first things he did was sneak into the Department of Mysteries to destroy the prophecy.
Yeah.
Somehow Umbridge got down there.
Okay.
Like he tripped an alarm and Umbridge followed him, and so he framed her for it.
Right.
And it's like much later on in the story, after they've dealt with all of Voldemort's Horcruxes, like the first year, they're like, "Well, our work is done. Nope, Umbridge is a new Dark Lord." Even kidding.
Okay, that's something. Anyway,
Are there any?
That's different.
Are there any time travel fics where they get sent back in time because Voldemort was meant to win?
That's funny. That'd be funny. I feel like that'd be more of a parody story than a actual serious fic. But we're gonna close this off here. We're at 9:20. I think we've put some solid time in.
Actually, there is one.
Mm-hmm.
It's Harry Potter goes back in time, and he does want Voldemort to win, but because there were some Light Lords that came in and did, excuse the phrase, I hate the word too, a McCarthyist rulership.
Nice.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you all next time, which is going to be Friday, because there is always more, and it does always get worse.